What's up, guys? This is an overview of the scrapping drill used by the Duke Blue Devils. It is an odd man ground ball drill used to build transition, clearing, and ground ball concepts. After watching this video, comment and let me know whether you enjoyed seeing drills diagrammed and explained in this way, as well as any tips and suggestions. Let's get right to it. Offensive and defensive players will line up on the crease with one heel on the crease line. The players will always set up with two offensive players on the outside, and in the middle the players will alternate, defense, defense, etc. To start the drill, a coach will roll out an offensive ball to either side of the goal, and the players will scrap for the ball and play to score a goal. Once a goal is scored or a turnover is produced, another coach will roll out a defensive ball. A defenseman will pick up the ball and try to clear. The offensive players will always double the ball to create a game-like clearing advantage where the defense will have more active players than the offense. The defenseman will try to clear or make a certain number of passes. Although all of the players in the video are attackmen and defensemen, both teams should consist of all types of players. In each build-up of the scrapping drill, the offense and defense will have rules that will help the drill be as game-like as possible. Every time the drill grows to allow more players, it will build on the previous progression. So the 4v3 scrapping builds on the 3v2 principles, which builds on the 2v1 principles. We will start with 2v1 scrapping. The offensive rules are, first, move the ball off the ground. Second, the adjacent player will get in the mirror and be an outlet. Third, they will draw and dump. Fourth, they'll have 3 seconds to get a shot off. And fifth, on the clear, they will always double the ball and force the defenseman to turn back and make passes. The defensive rules are, first, hub 1. Hub 1 is a call made by the goalie that lets defensemen know how many players are in the hub to defend. This way, they will know how to play the ball based on whether they have help or not. Second, compete for the ground ball. Third, slow play. Fourth, stop the ball, turn the ball, and put your stick in a passing lane. Fifth, make the offense make 2 passes. Sixth, on the clear, the defenseman will pick up the ground ball, run to daylight, look up field, turn away to get out of pressure, and move the ball. The defenseman will need to make 1 pass. Now we will watch an example of how this drill should look in practice. A1 and A2 will play on the outside of D1 on the crease. Coach 1 rolls the ball out to the right side. A1 will go pick up the ball with A2 getting in the mirror and being the adjacent outlet. D1 will contest the ground ball without getting too far out of position. When A1 picks up the ball, he will move it off the ground to A2, who will push opposite. As this happens, D1 will get back into slow play versus A2. In this example, A2 pushes opposite and shoots. This is an offensive win. D1 might have gotten a little too carried away trying to pursue the ground ball and left the hub open. Now the second coach will roll a ball out behind the cage. D1 will go to pick up the ball, and the goalie will present himself as an outlet. Once D1 picks up the ground ball, he will run to daylight and look upfield. A1 and A2 will double the ball, forcing D1 to roll back and pass to the goalie, ending the drill. Notice how A2 runs to a spot above D1 and forces him to turn back into A1. In the second example, A3, D2, and A4 will set up in the same manner, and Coach 1 will roll the ball out to the left. A4 and D2 will contest for the ground ball while A3 gets in the mirror. A4 picks it up and moves the ball off the ground to A3, who pushes opposite. D2 slow plays A3 and stops the ball, making A3 pass back to A4 for the shot. This is a defensive win for D2. Although A4 scored, D2 forced 2 passes, which in a game-time situation would have given his teammates enough time to recover in and defend A4. Now Coach 2 will roll a ball out behind the cage. D2 will go pick it up, being played by A3 and A4. As D2 picks up the ball, the goalie will present himself as an outlet. D2 scoops through the ball and wide turns to his left, looking upfield. D2 recognizes that he can beat A3 and he runs the ball out. In this example, A4 should have drop-stepped and chosen to pursue D2 by taking the top side and pushing him back rather than chasing him from behind. Now we will move on to 3v2 scrapping. In 3v2 scrapping, we will be working on the same rules as 2v1 scrapping. So offensively, players will still need to move the ball off the ground, get in the mirror, draw and dump, but this time we will add that they need to read and see the 2v1, and they will have 5 seconds to get the shot off. On the clear, they will still need to double the ball. The defensive rules we will still use are compete for the ground ball, slow play, stop the ball, turn the ball, and put a stick in the passing lane. But with another player on defense, we will be in hub 2. and the defense will win if the offense makes 3 passes. We will also add that players should never turn their backs to the ball and never slide to collide. On the clear, players will pick up the ground ball, run to daylight, look upfield, turn away to get out of pressure, and move the ball. This time they will need to make at least 2 passes. Now we will go over the video. The drill starts with A1 and A3 on the outside, with A2 in the middle, and D1 and D2 splitting them. The first coach rolls the ball out to the right side. A1 and D1 contest the ground ball, while A2 mirrors adjacent and A3 prepares to sneak or pop backside. D2 stays in the hub covering A2 and A3. As A1 picks up the ball, he immediately moves the ball to A2 in the mirror. A2 will push opposite to draw D2, who is slow playing. As A2 draws D2, A3 will sneak. A2 hits A3 and A3 scores. Win for the offense. The second coach will now roll the ball behind the cage. D2, the closer defenseman, will pursue the ground ball with A2 and A3 going to double. D1 will break up field covered by A1, and the goalie will drop back as an outlet. As D2 picks up the ball, he finds daylight and looks upfield, finding D1, who has come open on his cut, and D1 runs the ball out. In our second example, we will have A6, A5, and A4 from the right to left, and D3 and D4 splitting them. Coach 1 rolls the ball out to the left side, and D3 and A6 contest for the ball, while A5 gets in the mirror adjacent, A4 pops backside, and D4 stays inside with his stick up, covering 2 and waiting for the next pass. As A6 picks up the ball, he moves the ball off the ground to the mirroring A5. D4 steps up into space, slow playing A5, who pushes opposite and draws and dumps to A4. D4's slow playing creates enough time for D3 to recover in and play A4 on the second pass. A6 follows the slide, and A4 hits him on the crease for a dunk. Although the offense scored, the defense would win this offensive set for making the offense make 3 passes. The second coach rolls out the clearing ball behind, and D4 goes to pursue it with A4 and A6 going to double him. With 3 players in the clearing game, you can work on different aspects of the clear. First will be breaking up field, and second will be banana cuts and long passes. D3 breaks up field looking to get open, covered by A5, and the goalie gets behind the goal, becoming an outlet. When D4 picks up the ball, he wide turns to space, looking upfield. He is covered well by A4 and A6, and D3 is not open, so he rolls back and throws to the goalie. The goalie looks upfield and sees D3 covered and passes back to D4 as A4 and A6 go to double the ball. When D4 catches the ball, he pushes upfield looking for a pass. D3 mavericks back to the ball. D4 passes to D3, who turns to the outside and runs past A5 for the clear. Going back to the ground ball, if you would like to work on banana cuts and long passes rather than mavericking, you can have D3 banana cut out to the back right rather than go upfield. In this case, when D4 picks up the ball, looks upfield, rolls away, and passes to the goalie may have to try to draw A5 a little more than it's shown here, but either way, the goalie and D3 play a 2-man game and run the ball out. In 4v3 scrapping, we will be working on the same rules as 2v1 and 3v2s, but this time, players will need to anticipate ball movement and read the defenders because there will be less space. Also, the offense will now have 7 seconds to score a goal. On the defensive end, we will use the same techniques from 2v1s and 3v2s, but the defense will be in hub 3, and players will need to step to the hat before approaching. The hat is an imaginary mark on the field that is in the middle of the field, about 7 yards above GLE. Stepping to the hat ensures that we are recovering in passing lanes and approaching with good angles. Lastly, on the clear, they will need to make 3 passes. This time, we will be working on setting up a good base with 2 defensemen wide and even with the goalie, and then a floater cutting up field. To start the drill, the coach rolls the ball out to the right side. A1 and D3 contest for the ball, while A2 mirrors adjacent, A3 pops backside, and A4 occupies the back pipe. D2 and D1 will split the 3 backside, awaiting the first pass. A1 passes to A2, who pushes opposite, drawing D2. D3's next assignment is probably A4 on the backside, but notice how he does not run straight at A4, but rather steps to the hat, creating a good approach angle for when he needs to go, and fills the passing lane from A3 to A1. A2 draws D2 and moves the ball to A3, who draws D1 and moves the ball to A4 for the shot. Although D3 did not get there in time, he should be praised for stepping to the hat and taking the right angles. The second coach will roll the clearing ball out to X, and D3 will chase to pick it up. followed closely by A4 and A1. Notice that D1 and D2 are staying inside to ensure that we have a hub 2 situation if D3 does not pick up the ball cleanly. As D3 picks up the ball, he turns to the outside looking upfield, while D1 breaks upfield, the goalie gets to X for an outlet, and D2 banana cuts to the back right. D1 is covered, so D3 rolls away and passes to the goalie, who draws A2 and hits D2 cutting up the field. The second set starts with the coach rolling the ball to the left. A2 and D6 contest for the ball while A1 gets in the mirror, A6 pops backside top, and A5 occupies the back pipe. D5 and D4 get inside and split the other three players with their sticks up in passing lanes. A2 moves the ball to A1, who draws D5 and dumps to A6. A6 and A2 read D6 as he recovers in and gets out of position by going too quickly. A2 follows the slide and A6 passes through the defense to A2, who finishes on the doorstep. The second coach rolls the ball to X and D6 chases it with A2 and A5 going to double the ball. Once again, D4 and D5 remain inside until D6 picks up the ball cleanly. D6 picks up the ball and rolls to the outside, looking upfield. With D4 covered, he rolls away and passes to the goalie. From here, we're going to go over three good possibilities. At this point, D4 mavericks back toward the ball and is open because his body is in front of A6. D4 catches the pass and turns to the outside and runs the ball out. If D4 is covered by A6 and A1 is slow playing the goalie in D5, the goalie will need to push towards D5 to draw and dump before A5 and A2 can get back into position to jump the ball. If the goalie draws A1, he will move the ball to D5, who will run the ball up the sideline. The goalie also has the option to turn back and throw to D6, who is running up the sideline. If D6 draws A6, he will pass to D4, who is breaking up field on a diagonal. In our last example, we will discuss going to X for mirrors on both sides of the ball and what happens when the players miss the initial ground ball. The coach rolls the ball out to the right and A1 misses the ground ball. D3 will contest and slow play the ground ball. As a general rule, in transition sets, we would like to have everyone above GLE. So, in the 2v1 and 3v2 scrapping sets, we won't have players go to X at all. But in 6v6 gameplay, we'd like to have mirrored outlets on both sides of the ball so that players have possibilities of going either way. This is a distinction that coaches will have to decide as far as how they want the team to play within the 4v3 scrapping set. If the ball rolls past GLE, I believe in building the transition look of moving the ball through X and attacking opposite. So here, A4 will move to X. When A4 receives the ball from A1, he will push opposite and try to turn the corner and score. D1 will slow play above GLE until A4 gets dangerous. Having defensemen understand that we can slow play players behind the goal is a huge advantage when in recovery situations. So building the skill here will be beneficial. Once A4 draws D1, the players will draw and dump and follow slides in the same manner. When moving to 5v4 and 6v5 sets, all of the rules will be the same except for the time limits. For us, we will try to attack off the ground ball, but we will use these situations to train our players to recognize bad situations, pull the ball out, and work on man-up, man-down philosophies in a less rushed manner. Using 6v5 scrapping as a start to our man-up, man-down practice will train the players on how to get into our man-up, man-down sets quickly and efficiently. Also, in 6v5 scrapping sets, we will not double the ball so we can get man-down clearing practice. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Please let me know what you thought. Definitely leave a comment down in the comment section with any advice, tips, what you liked, what you didn't, all that stuff. Make sure to like and subscribe.